All right, what's up, everybody? So this is already starting out different because you've never seen me come to you from the car. As a matter of fact, you haven't seen me in a couple of years. A lot has changed since the last time I've been here. But yeah, it's been a lot of transition, and transition is still happening. But one thing that's going to be different is that I am going to be more transparent and forthcoming with my life. That's just something that I'm feeling, and that's something I'm going to do. So you're going to be seeing the growth, the transition and the growth through my YouTube channel. I'm approaching it totally different than I've approached it before. Before, with the Mike Brown Morning Show, I posted some videos here on YouTube. They didn't get much play. We also didn't do much marketing. But forget that. We're not even approaching it from that angle or perspective anymore. Here's the deal. We will have a show forthcoming. The show is forthcoming. It's going to be coming really, really soon. It's going to be a little bit different, though. It's going to be a podcast with video aspects. Okay, so that's all I'll say about that. But that's forthcoming real soon. But until then, I'm going to give you a glimpse of what goes on in my life. I'm not marketing to anybody specifically. I'm not telling my friends to subscribe to my channel. What's going to happen is this channel is going to grow, and you're going to be here to watch it grow. All right. So every now and again, I'm going to come on and talk about something that's on my mind and in my heart. Okay. And today, what I want to talk about is R. Kelly. I don't want to get too deep into why R. Kelly is in jail and all that stuff. I do agree that if in fact he is guilty of what he's been accused of, that he deserves some form of punishment. I'll say that. I agree with that. However, I'm going to say this as well. We as human beings could stand to be a little more, let me rephrase. We could stand to show a little more grace to each other as humans. Our level of humanity has really diminished. And it's crazy because our level of humanity has diminished at a time where we have accepted, and when I say we, I just mean our society and our culture, we have accepted things that are delusional. I'll leave that there. I'll get deeper into that at another time. But we have accepted things that are completely delusional. We have become desensitized to things that are completely delusional. But then we lack humanity when it comes to the treatment of people. Okay. I'm trying to keep going. So I'm going to read this article that's on the internet about R. Kelly. Let me say this too. This is not new news. This is like 3 days old. But I'm just now getting around to talk to y'all about it. I'm gonna give you my commentary, how I feel about it. So I already gave you. We know R. Kelly's in jail. We know he's in jail for 30 years. And we also know that he ain't done going to court. So it's some more time that could be added to his time in jail. So let's keep all that in mind before I even get into this article. So here we go with the article. I'm going to try to read the whole thing, but then I might stop and do some commentary. So let's go. Thousands of dollars in singer sex offender R.Kellys prison inmate account have been placed on hold after he failed to pay court-ordered fines. Okay. I said I was going to keep going, but I got to stop already. Court-ordered fines, which means that before he was sentenced, those fines were accumulated. While he was in the process of trial, those funds were being accumulated. Let me say it a better way. That means that the bill kept stacking up. Those costs, every time you showed up to court, it's going to get higher. The cost going to get higher. So before this man was even sentenced to 30 years, they knew that he was going to have these costs and fines. Also, I do believe that, I don't remember if R. Kelly was in custody while he was being tried for this particular case. I don't remember. I think he was in custody. Okay. He was in custody. But before he was sentenced, they knew that he owed court fines and costs. I just want to stop and say that before I continue. Okay. In a letter submitted on Thursday, prosecutors wrote that the Bureau of Prisons informed them the defendant had accumulated substantial funds in his inmate trust account. The trust account is used to buy food and other items at the prison's commissary. All right. Kelly apparently had $28,328.24 in his account at the time of the filing. But the Bureau of Prisons has limited his access to $500 of those funds this week. 28,000. He went from $28,328.24 to $500. Prosecutors claim that Kelly neglected to pay $140,000 in court-ordered fines in his case and wished to use the commissary balance to pay those down. Whew. That's all kinds of wrong. But let me finish. Kelly's attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, claims that the prison acted inappropriately. I happen to agree. After seizing his funds, the government decided to file a motion to confiscate his trust account money. Ooh, and then in quotations, it says you're supposed to do that before you take the money. You would think, right? But seemingly they could do whatever they want to do. Okay, let's see. Kelly was, I'm skipping over, but Kelly was sentenced, and he's 55 years old, by the way. He's 55 years old, by the way. Kelly was sentenced in June to 30 years in prison for sexual exploitation of a child, bribery, kidnapping, racketeering, and sex trafficking. Whew, that's a lot. U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly also ordered Kelly to pay a $100,000 fine, a $900,000 special assessment, and $40,000 assessment under the Justice for Trafficking Victims. Okay, that's too much. I'm done reading. Here's the point. R. Kelly had $28-some thousand in his commissary. The government says you owe money for court fines and costs, which is $140,000. So we're going to come in and we're going to seize your money. We're going to take most of it. We're going to take all but $500. Now, I've never been to prison. So I did a little research and I got some intel on what happens in prison. And I also understand that there are different levels of prison, right? You got your high security prisons, you got your state prisons, you got federal prisons. And I don't even know all of the differences between those. I do know that this is a federal case. And the research and the intel that I was able to gather was from someone that served federal time. So I asked some questions about Commissary. Now, mind you, the person that I asked, they only got sentenced to 2 years federal prison. But right now, R.Kellys looking at 30 years in just this case. I don't know if his other cases are federal or not, but this is a federal case. He's looking at 30 years. So I'm thinking that there may be some similarities in the commissary system just because it's a federal prison. But now 30 years compared to 2 years, of course, that's a whole different story. But here's the point that I'm making. The person that I spoke with told me that with between $350, he told me that at the prison that he was at, you could only spend $350 in a month's time at the commissary. In other words, as a prisoner, it didn't matter how much money you had on your books. They were only going to allow you to spend $350 in a month's time. Okay, so now, and he told me that at that particular prison, if you could spend $350 in a month, you could live a very comfortable life. That's what he told me. Now, let me explain to you what is in the commissary. You could buy your underwear, your toiletries, very basic items like that. You could buy some food items, but it's not like fresh food. You know, it's like the food that has a lot of preservatives in it. You know, canned goods and noodles and, you know, and maybe from different facilities, things get a little better as it relates to food. But these are the food items that he told me about, right? And you use your money in the commissary, the money that's on your books, your prison account, you use that money to purchase those items. And we're not even going to get into the prison currency that we're going to keep it legit and just talk about